Tottenham Hotspur's FA Cup campaign has come to an abrupt and painful end after a 2-1 defeat to Aston Villa, a result that once again highlighted the growing frustrations surrounding the club. On a night when Spurs desperately needed a response, they instead delivered another performance that raised more questions than answers. As the final whistle blew, boos rang around the stadium, reflecting the mood of a fanbase that is running out of patience. The FA Cup has long been viewed as Tottenham's best chance of silverware, a competition that offers hope and opportunity. But that hope was crushed by a well-organized and confident Aston Villa side who executed their game plan perfectly. From the opening moments, it was clear that Villa were not intimidated. They pressed aggressively, moved the ball with purpose, and disrupted Tottenham's rhythm early on. Spurs, meanwhile, struggled to settle, with misplaced passes and a lack of cohesion in key areas of the pitch. The first warning signs came as Aston Villa began to dominate midfield battles. Tottenham found it difficult to control possession in dangerous areas, allowing Villa to dictate the tempo of the match. That dominance eventually paid off. The breakthrough arrived in the first half when Emi Buendia found the back of the net. A slick attacking move exposed Tottenham's defensive structure, and Buendia showed composure to finish clinically. The goal silenced the home crowd and immediately shifted momentum in Villa's favor. Tottenham attempted to respond, but their attacks lacked sharpness. Villa remained compact and disciplined, cutting off passing lanes and forcing Spurs into wide areas where they posed little threat. Before Spurs could regroup, Aston Villa struck again. Morgan Rogers doubled Villa's lead with a well-taken goal that further exposed Tottenham's defensive weaknesses. Poor marking and slow reactions allowed Rogers space, and he made no mistake. At 2-0, the stadium atmosphere turned tense, and frustration began to boil over. Tottenham's body language told the story. Players looked uncertain, confidence drained, and the crowd's support quickly turned into murmurs of dissatisfaction. Despite enjoying more possession, Spurs failed to create meaningful chances. The problem wasn't just the scoreline, it was the lack of urgency and creativity. Passes were slow, movement was predictable, and Aston Villa looked comfortable soaking up pressure. As halftime arrived, Tottenham faced a familiar situation, chasing a game, with fans demanding answers. The second half brought a noticeable increase in intensity from Spurs. The tempo improved, players pushed higher up the pitch, and the home crowd attempted to rally behind the team. That renewed energy finally produced a breakthrough. Wilson Odobert pulled one back for Tottenham with a confident finish, reigniting belief inside the stadium. At 2-1, the game was suddenly alive again. The crowd responded, noise levels increased, and Spurs sensed an opportunity for a comeback. For a brief period, Tottenham looked dangerous. They pressed higher, moved the ball quicker, and forced Aston Villa deeper into their own half. Attacking momentum swung in Spurs' favor, and Villa were forced to defend with greater urgency. However, despite the pressure, clear chances were few and far between. Aston Villa defended intelligently, maintaining their shape and blocking shots at crucial moments. Their experience and discipline were evident as they managed the game expertly. As the minutes ticked away, Tottenham's urgency turned into desperation. Long balls replaced patient build-up play, and attacks became rushed. Villa, meanwhile, remained calm, slowing the tempo whenever possible and frustrating Spurs at every opportunity. The final stages of the match were tense. Tottenham threw players forward in search of an equalizer, but Aston Villa held firm. Each clearance, block, and interception brought Villa closer to sealing a famous victory. When the final whistle blew, the reaction was immediate and loud. Boos echoed around the stadium once again, a clear sign of the growing disconnect between the team and its supporters. Another FA Cup exit had been confirmed, and another opportunity for silverware had